As she mentioned, my name is Charles White. I'm the lead organizer here at 1 Million Cups. But what I am here to talk about this morning is something that's not working quite yet. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Perfect. So I am the owner, founder, whatever you would like to call it, whatever title you want to give a person that starts a business, of Night Out Cards. And in case you haven't experienced Night Out Cards or have heard of it, Night Out Cards is a traveling truth or dare game for adventurous people. So before I really get into what the game is, I want to tell a little bit about the backstory of how I came up with it. As all good stories start out, mine begins with a tragedy. This tragedy happened just under a week before Valentine's Day last year. I found myself single. That's a tragedy. So instead of sitting at home and eating ice cream or, just otherwise crying in the bathtub, so I reached out to my friends and I wanted to know if they had any other friends that they wanted to hook me up with on a blind date for Valentine's Day, because I thought that that was a good idea. And then by the time that it actually happened and they made an introduction between me and this other person, I realized I really didn't want to do this. So I had to figure out a way to be able to make this horrible experience of having a blind date on Valentine's Day much better. So what I ended up doing was contacting this other person and saying, hey, what do you like doing? What do you not like doing? What parts of town do you like going to? Let's figure out something to do. And the more that we started talking back and forth, the more I was like, well, let's just do something like out of the box. Let's not go down and have the white tablecloth dinner, the awkward interview in between two people. It's Valentine's Day, but let's just go out and have some fun, right? So we exchanged text messages and calls back and forth, just kind of talking about just different fun ideas. And what came out of that was actually the first iteration of this game. It was only 18 cards. It started off with just a few location cards that were very specific, that were things like go to Nob Hill, or go find some place to sing karaoke, or go to the nearest bar. And then we would pull an action card, and some of the first action cards that we did was go find a stranger and convince them to take a shot of Tabasco with you. Another one was, and this is probably my favorite one, was, and of course it was Valentine's Day, so we were like, well, we're a couple of single people on Valentine's Day. Let's go make fun of all the other people on dates on Valentine's Day, right? So what we did was, I'm so sorry I'm late. That was the name of the card. I'm so sorry I'm late. So the idea of this card was, as soon as someone else's couple partner person got up to leave somewhere, go to the bathroom, wherever we were out at, the other person would then go approach them, sit down, and start talking to them as if they were like a Tinder date or something like that was late. So, of course, I was the one that drew the card. We were out eating sushi, and we decided that now was the perfect time to be able to go play this card. So, gentleman gets up, goes to the restroom. My date starts tapping me. She's like, do it, do it, do it. And I was like, record it, So I go over there, I go, and I'm so sorry, I didn't realize I was so late, I apologize. I sit down, she's looking at me, what's going on, right? And we just kind of have this exchange about, I don't know who you are. I was like, of course you know who I am, I'm so sorry I'm late. And she's like, I don't think so. By that time, her boyfriend comes back to the bathroom, and I was like, you know what, you are not the person I've been looking for. I'm so sorry, you guys have a great evening. I went back over to my date, sat down, we laugh, right? So afterwards, I have this, incredible experience of that night. It wasn't the traditional thing. We got to meet a whole bunch of different people. We actually ended up befriending this other couple that we ended up introducing ourselves to. They actually helped record us do another card, which was the barefoot race. You have to take off your shoes and go race a certain distance back and forth. Yes, I won. So, please, I'm not going to let her win. So, it was the kind of experience that I realized coming out of this that the next day, I woke up and I was like, man, that was really fun. And I was like, oh shit, I have to make this into a business. It was like one of those things where you just kind of follow into it, right? Where it's just like, it comes out of desperation of trying to create something, and you're just like, wow, this really could actually be something. So for me, it was this transformation in between, let's make a horrible, crazy experience into something that I think that a lot of people would definitely like. And Night Out Cards is what came out of that. So From there, it actually really took me about a year before I really started getting things going. I made the next iteration of it, and the next iteration really was going onto a PDF and just printing out cards and then putting them in little card deck sleeves and then handing them out to my friends and say, can you please go play this and tell me what you think of it? So I had someone take it up to Seattle and play it up there with her friends, and I made it a little bit more ambiguous. So the location cards changed into something that wasn't like go to Nob Hill. It was go to a place that's just out of eyesight. Things like that, where I could play it in any kind of city or region that I really wanted to go to, as long as you were in a mass of people that you could go and be around. So from there, I then just kind of kept on making up more cards, but it really wasn't getting traction. It really didn't have a design. Like I said, it was just all about like this very basic PDF that I made. Actually, it was a Google Doc form where I just like printed it out and then copied and pasted it. You know, it's like crazy stuff, right? Really, really simple stuff. And I realized, if I'm ever going to take it to the next level where I'm actually going to start selling them, I needed to bring on someone that understood marketing, right? I understand game dynamics. I understand how to come up with crazy cards. You know, I would literally just go and sit in bars and talk to the bartenders and be like, do you think this is a good idea? Like, do you think that people would do any of these things? You know, so from there, I actually brought on a really good friend of mine, Antonio Martinez. He works with me over at Boomtime, and he's a director of marketing over there. And we just started kind of talking back and forth, and I was like, you know what? I would really love for the launch day of this card game to be on Valentine's Day, the year anniversary of when I first played this game. And he's like, that sounds great. And he was like, so what do we need to do? He was like, well, we need a card design. We need to be able to send it off in the next week. And we need to be able to get these printed out, shipped, packaged, and ready to go for it. And he was like, oh, okay, actually, I know some guys. And in fact, they're here today. If you guys go ahead and stand up, Adam Operations. Thank you guys so much. These guys, from idea conception to sitting down and talking with us, made this whole thing happen from all of the just ideas of the 3 different cards that I have: location cards, action cards, and guest cards. They came up with the whole design, all of the color palette, everything, along with a whole bunch of social media tools for us as well. It was like 5 days that you guys went from our first conversation to when they actually handed us this beautiful portfolio that said, hey, this is your card game. And I was like, let's do it. Over the next couple of days, putting those cards together on a PDF to get them ready for production. I sent them off into a printer that I believe is in Kansas. And it's just an online thing where you just put it on there and you order the decks and you order the boxes to come along with it, and we got the stickers printed at I think it was like FedEx, and we put all the cards together and we made this amazing event happen. So it wasn't just like, hey, let's go out and sell some cards, let's make an event happen. So what we did was we paired off with 3 different businesses in Nob Hill. We did Tractor Brewing, we did Nob Hill Bar and Grill, and we also did Kelly's. And we gave away prizes. We had about 14 people there. We had 7 teams just paired off with each other. Had some amazing social media content come out of that. But also, we sold the event. It was proof to me that I was just like, we have a physical product, and we were selling them. So I actually did it really cheap for everybody. It was $20 per couple. You got a deck, you got a whole bunch of little goodie bags, and you won prizes at the end. We partnered off with yes, yeah, she won. She won. They did the most prizes, most points at like 74-82 or something like that. So had this amazing event where we generated a lot of content from that. And what I saw was that the people that were posting online, all the people that were like, wow, what is this? Where can I buy it? And I was like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this yet, right? So my question to you guys is, I'm at the point where I have my beta products. There's a few changes that I'd like to make to the product itself. But beyond that, I need to know, I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter. I'm going to be doing, I think that's the greatest way to be able to kind of get this out there, market it, pre-sell it, and put it out there in the world. But my question to you guys is, Do I absolutely need a whole big audience to be able to launch a Kickstarter first and maybe do a larger Kickstarter later? Can I do a small Kickstarter now and then probably, do something like that? Because for me, all I need to do to be able to do my next production run is 100 decks sold. And that's it. That's the base minimum for me to be able to get my next production run ready to rock and roll. And I already have another partnership with, and I don't think he's actually here yet, Keith Allen West. He actually owns Urban Fresh, where that event is going to be on the 27th. He's offered to be able to host all of my shipping and online sales fulfillment through his website. So we just have a link directly to his website, be able to do that. So I have that ready to rock and roll, but I just need a way to be able to put it out there to an audience. So that's to my question for you guys, kind of going into the Q&A, which I'll open up to you now. What kind of feedback do you have for me about how I can move it to the next level now that I have a product, it's ready to go, I've tested it, people love the cards, I'm making a few tweaks to it, and I'm ready to go. Questions? Yes.